We can talk about the effort that England put forward, but truth be told, guys, it just felt like Spain were the better team on the day.
Yeah, I think England was just our normal selves throughout the tournament. We never set the world alight. We never really played well. I think we had a first half against Holland, played really well. Maybe spells against, was it Switzerland? We played really well in spells. But overall, we just never had a good tournament. Tournament football is getting through to the next round. We got through, obviously, to the finals, but we just let ourselves down again.
All right. Because
there we go.
I don't know. I walked in here and it felt like a morgue, you know? I mean, what's going on here?
Here we go.
Why is the energy so low?
The energy is not low. I'm fine.
Okay. So when you see this run by England, right? They get to a final. But it seems like it's been very boring and pragmatic, and that Gareth Southgate hasn't gotten the best out of certain players like Phil Foden, even Jude Bellingham to an extent. Yes, he came up big in some moments, but he didn't play all that well, as we've seen him play with Real Madrid all season. What do you attribute that to? And maybe the trust also in a Harry Kane who didn't look like anywhere near himself, or at least what we saw from him at Bayern Munich this season. He looked like he had heavy legs. He never really got going. He was too far away from goal, where he's a predator in the box. And he didn't get too many touches in the final third. So what do you attribute that to?
I would say, for me, overall in the game, England showed Spain way too much respect. When you look at that game from the start, there was too much respect shown to Spain, and Spain capitalised on it. Spain stifled England the entire game by willing to press, being aggressive. Every time England got the ball, Spain had 3 or 4 players and won the ball back so quick. England could not keep the ball. So for me, when you're watching that as a manager, coach on the sideline, you've got to start thinking, I need to make changes. Harry Kane hasn't looked like Harry Kane the entire tournament. He has not looked fit. It looks like there's something else going on there. And the frustrating thing as an England fan for me is you look at it to say, it's not like we're struggling for talent. We've got the talent there. We've got players like Ollie Watkins. We've got Ivan Toney. We've got Gerard Bowen, who you could even put in the middle if you want. Cole Palmer. You've got players that can come on and make a difference. When you don't use those players and you still give the likes of Harry Kane opportunity to stay on the pitch, Phil Foden, who wasn't having a great game as well, you don't make changes. As a manager, as a coach, you have to look at yourself and take elements of blame to that. Because I feel that we could have changed the dynamic of that game as it's going on to be a lot more aggressive, not let Spain have it the way it is. And one thing we all know here is no matter how good a player is, one thing that players hate is being put under pressure. And we did not put Spain under pressure throughout that game. And we had players who could have come on and been a lot more energetic to put Spanish players under pressure the same way that they did to us, which is why they dominated the game.
I agree. I think England, throughout the tournament, only done well when we went behind. So there was no pressure on us. So against Spain, we went behind, come back. And then once we come back, we took our foot off the gas again. And then they punished us. And that was our tournament.
I think we have
to. Really well when we went behind.
We have to give Spain so much credit, though, because they were by far
the
best team throughout the entire competition. 7 matches, 7 wins. They are European champions for a record 4th time in a row. Charlie, when you think about the run that they went on throughout this past month, what impressed you the most about them?
I think the different ways that they can beat you. So, one, Lamine Yamal steps up. This now 17-year-old was absolutely sensational the entire tournament. And yes, he scored a big goal in the semifinal, but it's how he opens up the game for everyone else. His vision, his touch, his movement off the ball, he puts so much pressure on back lines. And then you go on the other side and you have Nico Williams, who, another player, I thought in the final, he was brilliant on the dribble. One-on-one with Kyle Walker, that didn't faze him at all. He would go at Kyle Walker, and even Kyle Walker was like, oh, this guy, you know, he could go left, he can go right, and he's so quick on the dribble. So I love their confidence. And then you see a player like Dani Olmo step in. Remember, this was a substitute. He wasn't really supposed to play as much as he did because Pedri would have played, and Pedri probably wouldn't have been substituted as much as you'd think. So I think for Dani Olmo to come into a tournament like this and come up with those magical moments of big goals, of big impacts, clearing the ball off the line, this Spanish team is just from top to bottom well built. They have a great style. The manager has a good sense of when to make those tactical adjustments or substitutions. De La Fuente has coached these guys since they were kids, essentially. So I don't see them slowing down at all. And all with Morata, who is not scoring all the goals in the world, but you can see his work rate just adds to what they're trying to do. And it's all about the way that they build tempo. When you have Rodri sitting with Fabian Ruiz, who played well above his level, it's a really tough team to beat.
I would say for me, the biggest thing that I look at, especially when you're looking at young players and you talk about young players, it's the end product. That is the biggest reason why Lamine Yamal is playing. Because when you watch him in the final third, the decision-making that he's making at 17 years old is absolutely phenomenal. Those are the type of decisions that you see players in their 30s start to make, where you don't always have to beat the man. You just get your head up, you make a pass, a penetrating pass that goes into Mata's feet that could create a goal-scoring opportunity, or knowing when to cross it, when to take someone on, and then you win a corner. That is why this kid is playing and why he is a generation talent, because he's playing like he's in his late 30s already. The manager, De La Fuente, made some absolutely great tactical changes. You lose Rodri, who for me is in the conversation for best player in world football. Whether people like it or not, he is in the conversation of the player that should be winning World Player of the Year. You bring on Zubimendi, who comes in, you don't skip a beat. And even when they make changes, the changes that they made were positive changes throughout the entire game. And one thing that I would say, pay attention to detail, when you know he's a good manager, good coach, is 89th minute, you take off Lamine Yamal, who is a threat, but you take him off. But that's football intelligence in the sense of the young lad's done fantastically well. Bring on Mikel Moreno on, more experience just to see out the game, because you know it's the 89th minute, it's getting to that stage. Bring on more experienced player. That is good coaching. That is good management there when you talk about tactics and tweaks at the right time.
That made me nervous when he did that, because I thought this could entirely go into extra time, and then one of your best players is not out there on the pitch. But it worked out, and De La Fuente, I think it's incredible the amount of trust that he has put into the young players, like a Lamine Yamal, like a Nico Williams. When you have a manager and you're playing on the biggest stage in the world, Zat, what does that do for you as a young player in terms of building your confidence?
I think both of them was players of the tournaments, and I just saw fearless in both of them, and that's why I enjoyed, like, obviously being an England supporter. Every time Spain played, I wanted to watch these two. It was exciting. Yeah. They kept you on the edge of your seat, and I just love the fairness in both of them.
Yeah. I have to also bring up the fact that Dani Carvajal continues to show why he is probably one of the most underrated right backs in the game, one of the most important players for Spain and Real Madrid. I go back to the match against Germany. He takes a red card for the team to get his second yellow, because he knew at that stage Germany was pushing, and it would have been a clear path for Germany to generate another chance, because he was out of position, and he just takes the yellow. He said, "I'm going to take my red. I'll miss the France game." He comes up with the most incredible game-changing tackles or game-changing interceptions or clearances. Just a special player.
I'm going to see your Carvajal, and I'm going to raise you Cucurella. Where was this Cucurella? I'm going to give you that Cucurella, because for me, listen, he had a sensational tournament. I don't know where he's been hiding, but this isn't the same Cucurella we've seen at Chelsea.
Who saw that coming?
And even in this game, if you look at it, England's tactics was to go down his side. They really tried to bully him and expose him, and he rose to the occasion. Maybe like the goal that they did get with Cole Palmer, he was caught out of position. He was still crazy high, but Spain stayed true to how they wanted to play. And then Cucurella's assist for the winning goal. I see your Carvajal, but I give you Cucurella for me having a better tournament. For I have not seen this guy. I think Chelsea might try and re-sign him again, not knowing that he's already signed too.
I agree with that.
He was unbelievable.
Strong case for himself. Before we transition to our next topic, I just want to show this nugget. First of all, think of their journey, the teams they beat. France, Germany, Italy, the reigning Euro champions.
All World Cup winners.
Exactly. But this was from Optajo. This is a crazy stat. Since the 2002 UEFA Champions League final, Spanish teams and the Spanish national team have played in 23 major finals. So Champions League, UEFA Cup, Europa League, World Cup, European Championships against non-Spanish teams, and they won the trophy every single time. All 23 times.
It's crazy stuff.
Well, that's a big pill to swallow, isn't it?
I know. I thought that was quite a staggering
So are you
statistic.
saying we should get a Spanish coach?
I'm saying it. And think about it. The women won the World Cup. I mean, Spanish football is absolutely flying right now.